Excellent. Thank you for that, everybody. Again, my name is Corey Stanton. I'll be your Master of Ceremonies for this evening. Now, tonight, we'll be hearing from a lot of very close friends and family of the bride and groom. Some fantastic speeches are on the horizon, so I'm going to keep my part here relatively brief, but I did just want to take a few moments to tell you all a bit about how I know the happy couple and why I'm the guy up here doing this. So, Long and I met almost exactly 11 years and 1 month ago tonight. It was late August 2013, and we had both just started medical school here in Ottawa. We were in the midst of our orientation week, which is a very classy way of saying 7 straight nights of partying and getting drunk and doing all kinds of things that you would never, ever want to know that your future doctors were doing. So one of those nights, I'm back at my apartment, and I'm admittedly a little bit tipsy, and I hear the front door open. Of course, I'm expecting my very white, very Jewish, 5'11" roommate who I've known my entire life to walk through the door, but instead, that guy. How much did I have to drink? After the shock and awe subsided, I learned that Long met my roommate while they were out in the Byward Market, and they discovered that not only was Long a classmate of ours, but that he lived in the exact same apartment building, literally just 1 floor above us, and as they say, the rest was history. Over the next 4 years, Long became a critical part of my med school experience. From that very first night onward, he was effectively my second roommate, and then that became a reality, and truthfully, he became my first roommate, when we moved into a house together during our clerkship years. Through Senators games and karaoke nights, and even a pair of medical documentaries that are available for free online, in which he had a starring role, where I directed him in, I learned two defining things about Long that I think anyone who knows him can agree with. Number one, this is going to sound very simple, but I mean this in the absolute most complimentary way possible. He is just a great guy. Honestly, he's just a great guy. You can applaud for that. He's loyal, he's funny, he is the most easygoing man on the planet, possibly in the universe, and he's an incredible friend. Now, number two, he's exceptionally lazy. And now, for those of you here tonight who may one day find yourselves seeking internal medical care at the Queens Bay Carleton Hospital, that should concern you, but not nearly as much as it concerned Long's friends when it came to his romantic pursuits, and yet somehow he got Hayley, and we all seriously lucked out when he got Hayley, and I think that deserves some applause as well. An amazing person in her own right for a number of reasons you're going to hear tonight across a number of great speeches, not the least of which because not only does she tolerate this laziness, but she embraces it. In fact, if you were to visit their home right now in Mackey Place, you would find a plethora of stuffed animal sloths, and if that's not love, I don't know what is. Hayley, to be a little sentimental for a moment, it was honestly so wonderful getting to be there to meet you during the early days of your relationship when you were dating Long. It's been my privilege to watch you both grow as a couple. It's my honor to be up here as your Master of Ceremonies. As the Ottawa crew in the room would say, congratulations. As the Vietnamese crew in the room would say, and if I butcher this pronunciation, you guys can smack me on the head later. Chúc mừng hai bạn. Decent? Boys? Anyone? Oh, I don't know. Give me a whack later. And as my people would say, mazel tov. Congratulations, guys. Now, time for some housekeeping. As your MC, I've been asked to remind you all that there are 2 spaces here at Aquatopia. We're currently in the greenhouse. The other room is called the atrium. We ask that you please respect the natural elements, which include the plants, the pond, and the physical building itself. Though we know it is wedding tradition, we ask you not to clink your glassware tonight and to please leave all alcoholic beverages inside the building. As you're already seated, please take a moment to make sure that you're in the correct seat, otherwise you will not receive your chosen meal. You will notice that there's currently wine and water on your table. If it's not there yet, it will be there soon, as the bar will be closed during dinner, but it will reopen after the first dance. Here at Aquatopia, there is no smoking or vaping in the building. There is, however, a wooden stand outside the front entrance that acts as an ashtray. If you drove here today, your cars can stay parked overnight, but they must be picked up tomorrow by 12 o'clock noon. We, of course, ask that you don't drink and drive and encourage you to take advantage of our complimentary shuttle service to leave the venue. Anyone can board the shuttle. The first one will be arriving at 10:35 p.m., and the second and final shuttle will arrive at 12:45 a.m. If you have any questions about any logistics or anything concerning the venue, you can reach out to any of the venue staff here wearing black, and they'll be happy to assist you. As I mentioned earlier, there is no clinking of glassware here, so in lieu of that, if you're looking to spread the love and get the newlyweds to kiss, Hayley and Long have devised a tricky little trivia game to test your knowledge. Should you be so brave? Simply approach the podium during dinner to receive a skill testing question regarding the couple's lines of work. Accounting for Hayley, medicine for Long. The catch is that anyone who works in business must pick a medicine question. Anyone in medicine must pick a business question. And if you come up here and you don't work in either of those, it is dealer's choice. And if you answer correctly, of course, the bride and groom will share a smooch. With all that said, you'll hear from me again in a little bit. But in the meantime, I'd just like to say, dinner will be served momentarily. Please enjoy.
I have a quote here. So a marriage is like a car. So a marriage is like a car. If you let it, it can drive you crazy. But if you're lucky, it can take you to amazing places. Good evening, everyone. For those that don't know me, my name is Peter Panswick, and I had the privilege of knowing Long for over 30 years. Oh, yeah. It all started back in kindergarten at Keelsdale Elementary School, where we first met. Both of us were shy, quiet type guys. I was a small lad back then, and Long, he's still the same height. Who could have predicted that a friendship that started all those years ago would last a lifetime? I remember my mom always saying that how she saw Long going to school, happily prancing along, with his mom, a big smile on his face. That energy and enthusiasm for life, even then, and over the years, has shown us how talented and gifted you are. Growing up, we spent countless weekends together, going to each other's homes, and one of our memorable moments was playing Star Wars and being Jedis. I, of course, took on the role as Darth Vader, the feared Sith Lord, and Long was the wise and noble Obi-Wan Kenobi. We were true Star Wars nerds, always competing with one another, whether it be our lightsaber moves or trying to better one another. We both share a love for hockey, and those same weekends, we spent playing hockey and hoped that we'd be drafted to the NHL, and I'm sure you guys know how that ended up. We followed and bled the blue and white, and Long, after tonight, I don't know if you still bleed it. Attaboy, yeah, go Leafs, go. Let's go. What? My brother introduced us to Pokemon, and let me tell you, Long may be a doctor today, but this guy can never beat me in Pokemon battles. I stomped you in the yard, and sorry, bud, that had to be said. From Pokemon cards to Pokemon Yellow, Long didn't stand a chance. The Force was not strong with you. But in all seriousness, Long has always been my benchmark. Without him, I'm not sure I'll be where I am today. He's always been one with his head down, focused on his studies, and getting it done. And I did my best to keep up with him. Long would always be prepared for tests. This guy had insider information for every test. He knew when and where it would happen. If you want to know when the next spelling test was, you ask him. So I remember my grade 6 teacher, Miss Linus, would mess with him. And one day would tell him, Long, there's a test tomorrow. And obviously the classic Long, we would freak out, panic, and start reading his notes. It's amazing to see that the journey of my lifelong friend, from those kindergarten days to the man he is today. He's achieved so much, and now he's met the woman of his dreams. I remember when he first introduced me to you, Hayley, over Zoom. I couldn't believe Long has finally found someone, but it warmed my heart that he met someone special. Hayley, you have an incredible man with you. When Long talks about you, I can see the excitement and joy in his eyes. It's the same look I've seen in him whenever he's truly passionate about something or someone he loves. I wouldn't be surprised if you convinced him to be a Senators fan. So here's to the both of you, Long and Hayley. I'm honored to be standing here celebrating this special day with you. I wish you all the happiness in the world and many amazing years ahead. As I wrap up, it's only fitting that I throw in a quote from one of my favorite TV shows, The Simpsons. So to borrow a quote from Homer Simpson, to alcohol, the cause of and solution to all life's problems. To Long and Hayley, cheers.
Hayley and I met in high school. We were introduced by a mutual friend. Hi, Wilson. And she will never forgive him for that. Our shared love of books had Hayley reading my terrible high school writing. Our shared love of video games had us building one together in programming class. All in all, we were fast friends, right? Okay, maybe it took her a few years to figure that out. If you told high school Hayley that I would be standing up here today, she would laugh in your face. You know how I know? Because the first time I called her my best friend, do you remember what you did? I know she knows because I hold it over her head daily. She laughed at me. I'm over it. It's fine. We've both changed a lot over the last 17 years, and we've seen the best and worst versions of each other. I tease about the best friend thing, but Hayley has seen me through breakups, driven me to the hospital on multiple occasions, and we spent 6 hours in a car together in a hurricane, and she didn't get sick of me. We've put up with each other for over half our lives. I'm sorry for doing so much math at you. And we're still best friends. So at this point, I'm pretty sure we're going the distance. I have time penciled in my calendar 50 years from now to sit on a porch swing and yell at the neighborhood kids together. So as you can imagine, I have some pretty high standards for who she spends the rest of her life with. Now, Hayley's love life, I promise this part is short. Hayley's love life has involved, let's call it a proportionally significant number of men who thought things were more serious than they were. She was once on the receiving end of a very dramatic breakup speech from a guy she did not think she was in a relationship with. Luckily, by the time Long proposed, they were on the same page. Which brings me to Long. In keeping with my personal brand, I was cynical at the start, but even I had to admit you were a great match. You showed off your great taste in books. The first time Hayley went over, she found a book by her favorite author sitting on his coffee table. You take way, way better care of her health than she ever has. Thank you. You understand how important Hayley's family is to her? For those not aware, the Coopers have a tradition called the dinner view, where new partners come over for dinner to meet the family for the first time, and they get grilled. Long was nervous, so at a house party, we spent like an hour in a powder room with Barath to give you advice on making a good impression. It was mostly just, if you're gonna play footsie with someone, be aware of who it is. Not to mention, y'all bought like a whole ass house so she could live in the same neighborhood as two of her siblings. Finally, and most importantly, like all of Hayley's favorite people, you are an insufferable little gremlin, and I wouldn't want any less for her. Now, for my favorite part, the unsolicited advice. For example, people today will tell you to cherish these moments. I, for one, don't know what that's supposed to mean, so here's something you can actually do. Tomorrow, the two of you will sit down together for an hour or 4 or however long you need. Write down every single happy memory from today. Every 5-second moment that made you smile or laugh or cry. Like how great a hug you got from your best friend, or how handsome your best friend looked, or how hilarious your best friend's speech was. The important stuff. You write it all down and you read it a year from now on your anniversary, or someday in January when you're having a rough time, or when your partner is traveling and you miss them. It will be there for you, just like you'll be there for each other. To Hayley and Long, to the families you're each officially joining today, and to the family you are together now, cheers.
Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Lori. I'm one of Hayley's older sisters, and I have the pleasure of being her maid of honor tonight. We are celebrating a very special powerhouse couple here tonight, Hayley and Long. Hayley and Long. My, oh my, what a romance you have been having. From 6 degrees of separation on the first date, that's a story for later, to becoming COVID couples living together right away. And so many family functions and milestones. You guys have been through so much already. You know, aside from that whole global pandemic thing, I fondly remember Hayley and Long entering their forced proximity romance era. Hayley, our plucky heroine, courageously embraced living in Long's too many stared apartment, only to be met one night with the saddest spice cupboard that anyone has ever encountered. And for those of you who haven't heard this story, there was one seasoning. Hayley, can we call it seasoning? In Long's cupboard. Hayley opened those bachelor pad cupboards and found one Costco-sized jar of Metamucil. Tell me you're a doctor without telling me you're a doctor. Fast forward to the future, Hayley and Long have entered their new house, new problems arc. And while the place doesn't seem to be cursed, it is occasionally haunted with the treasured arguments of an engaged couple. If you haven't spit words about the recycling or breaking down cardboard before you put it in the box, are you really in love? To the married couples here, you understand. Long, you are what Hayley has been looking for. And she may not have known it right away when she saw your online dating profile and read your headline. Not a scrub, but sometimes I wear them. But she knows it now. Hayley and I were watching a lot of Hallmark movies, as one does, and I asked her if someone on the screen was her type, and she said, Long is my type. Long, you are a smart, kind, and undeniably fun person. I am so glad my little sister met you. And frankly, I'm so excited that you're joining the family because I'm hoping you'll rub off on my husband, whose dating headline was, "Pity swipe me, babe." Hayley, you are a loving, generous, brilliant person. I know your marriage will be filled with amazing stories and fits of laughter because you bring that to everything that you do. I knew coming into this tonight that I could probably make Hayley cry with one look. So let me bottle that all into this one emotional grenade and then throw it at you. Are you ready? No. Mom and Dad would be so proud of you. You're You're an accomplished, beautiful bride, and I'm so happy to be celebrating this wonderful milestone here tonight. May you and Long continue to spice up each other's lives. Nice Q-tips, Long. Excellent touch. Really excellent, excellent. And with that, I'd like to invite Hayley's other siblings to join me here for a few words before we have a toast to the bride and groom. Caitlin and Wes, could you join me up at the front? You're first.
So on or about February 9th, 1992, I met Hayley Cooper. Just kidding. So I'm Hayley's other sister, Caitlin. I'll keep it short because I think a lot of the same sentiments have already been said. But anybody that knows Hayley knows that she is loving, she's generous, she's extremely kind. I want to say that when Hayley was in grade 10, I was in university trying to ask her accounting questions. I had braved taking an accounting course, and clearly it wasn't for me, but we all love you very much, Hayley, and Long. We're so happy that you're able to join our family, and Hayley, yours. I knew that Long would be a fantastic brother-in-law when he matched our very dark sense of humor. Only Long, I can ask him, hypothetically, in an autopsy, would this happen? And Long would say, I'll get back to you on that one, and not make it weird. So I hope the best for you guys in this first year and for all the years of marriage, and happiness, health, love, and great friendships, and most importantly, the friendship and love between the two of you guys. Love you guys.
Hi, everyone. I'm Wesley. I'm Hayley's older brother. I'd like to thank you all for coming to join us tonight to celebrate this wonderful occasion. And Hayley and Long, it's a joy to me that you found each other, who you complement so well. I had a couple of things prepared to say about love, but your ceremony and vows covered it beautifully. So what I really want you to hear from me tonight is that I love you both, and Long, welcome to the family. Everyone, will you please join me in raising a glass to Hayley and Long. May your life together forever be filled with... I'll wait for the glass.
She's the weird one.
May your life together forever be filled with peace, love, laughter, and happiness. Cheers.
Cheers.
Let's hear it one more time for Hayley's siblings. Let's hear it for them. Tough act to follow, but there's only one man in the room who can do that. Let's bring up one of our groomsmen, an emergency room doctor, faces all kinds of stuff at St. Meg's Hospital, downtown Toronto. This should be a cakewalk for Garrick Mock. Let's hear it for him, everybody.
Oh, man. I feel really bad for Long. He told me I had 40 minutes, so. Okay. I just got LASIK, so now my vision is all kind of blurry. Hey, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Garrick, and I'm one of Long's groomsmen. He begged me to give him a speech to say nice things about him for 5 whole minutes, and I told him we might as well just end the speech now. I mean, this is the same guy who, in our WhatsApp group, asked us, the groomsmen, for our names and our phone numbers. He said, I need your names and your phone numbers for the invitation. As our names are listed in the WhatsApp group, he's currently texting us in. Full name. That included his brother, by the way. He didn't know his brother's full name and phone number. So Long and I first met back in med school, and I can't really tell you the exact moment we met Long, but what I can tell you is that the most defining moment of meeting Long was probably one of those Freedom Private parties we went to in med school, where we actually did that earlier today, where we chanted Long, Long, Long. And every time we chanted that at any party, he would have to chug his drink. I was told that is not allowed tonight until after the first dance, but we'll see after that. But that tradition is still true to today. You saw that outside earlier today, and I'm sure it'll happen at some point before the bar closes tonight. Throughout med school, Long and I stayed close. In third year, we split into smaller groups for a clerkship. And actually, the original group was Ravi, Jeff, and Long. And then Jeff left the group. And then I snuck into the group. And then Jeff begged for someone else to leave the group so he'd get back in. And I would not let that happen. So basically, the three of us were in, me, Ravi, and Long were in the same clerkship group. And I think the most defining rotation I can think of in clerkship was our psychiatry rotation. It's supposed to be a really chill rotation where, you go in 9 to 5, you don't really do much call, you don't really work weekends. And then somehow I was stuck like 3 hours after everyone. I was there till like 7 or 8 p.m. because Long and I would carpool, and then he would just leave because he's like, I'm not waiting 3 hours for you. And I would have to Uber home. And then Long would literally be there 3 days a week, leaving at noon. And I don't know how he pulled that out, but somehow he was able to convince the psychiatry staff to then take me on. So I also was able to leave halfway through every single week at noon. So we went to the pizza buffet many times during that time, because pizza buffet is only available at lunchtimes on weekdays, and only people who work half days are actually able to go to something like that. After med school, we both stayed in Ottawa. For the first year of residency, Long basically stayed on my futon for 6 months. That was when I truly understood what kind of person Long was. And you would think that I would tell you these beautiful, amazing things during that period of time. But I think the one story I can tell you about that is just how much of a sloth he truly is. It's amazing that he's as successful as he is, because it doesn't make any sense. I left for a general surgery rotation at 6 o'clock in the morning to go round. I got back at 8 p.m., and nothing changed. The lights were turned off. The futon was not touched. He never got up. He didn't pee. He didn't eat. He didn't drink. He just sat there reading his comic books and looking at his phone and playing video games on his phone the entire time. And I had to ask him if he wanted to eat dinner. I don't know how he does that, but he has this amazing ability to still somehow succeed despite his sloth-like activities. The other example of that would be his undergrad stories. So he went to U of T, where he thought that a 4.0 GPA was getting 85%. So he went throughout all of first year, studying just enough to get 85%, because he said, that's good enough for a 4.0. He didn't realize that that's actually a 3.9 in other sites. And to get a 4.0, he needs to get a 90. So he told himself, I'm just going to study a little bit more. And then somehow he pulled off a 4.0 going to U of T by just studying a bit more, because he knew he needed to. Throughout residency, Long really was the glue for our friendship group. He, Ravi, Jeff, and I lived in the same condo complex, and we've now titled ourselves the Everest Asians. I actually think my wife made that chat group initially, and then I think Jeff booted her out of the chat group. So it just became the four boys that we still continue using that group today. We just did everything together, right? We would eat, we would play video games, we played darts. We would do basically anything, and Long was always down, no matter what. Whenever you ask Long if he wants to do something, he's always going to say yes, unless it involves physical activity or getting off the couch. He is clearly the glue for so many different friendship circles here, as you can see today. I think Long probably has the record for most groomsmen suits in his closet. He has been in so many groomsmen parties that I can't even count. That just really shows the kind of person Long is, though, right? He is all about bringing people together and being that glue between different friendship groups. Long also helped with my wife and I, Jasmine. So when Jazz and I were trying to communicate over long distance, whenever I was post-call or working, because we do that in residency, she would text me and I wouldn't answer her. And she automatically thought that I was dead. Her instant thought when I didn't reply her within 5 minutes was, Garrick is dead. So her next reaction is to then call Long and say, Long, is Garrick dead? And Long would be like, no, he's sleeping, leave him alone. He probably saved Jazz from many heart attacks, so I'm quite thankful for that. Then came Hayley, and I think we can all pause here for a second for how beautiful she looks tonight. I'll never forget when Long came back from his first date with Hayley. He had this glowing look to him that I've only ever seen when he plays video games beating a hard boss. You could tell right away that she was truly special, and she has changed him in so many ways and made him a better person. I think the two biggest things that she's been able to do is, A, she's taught him how to smile. He has this beautiful smile now that we didn't know existed 5 years ago. And then secondly, she is one of the hardest working people you'll ever meet, and she's imparted that onto Long. He actually created a fantasy football group. He set up a poll that he actually did it by himself. He created a WhatsApp group, not asking us for our names and phone numbers this time. He then made a poll asking us for the days that we can vote, or for the days that we can draft, and he actually became the commissioner. I never knew Long had those individual skills. Hayley, you are the best thing that's ever happened to Long, and I'm so happy for the two of you. So to close this off, I'd just like to say to the beautiful bride and groom, thank you. Thank you for bringing us all together to celebrate your joyous occasion. And thank you for being all of our rock and glue. Thank you for being the most loyal friends any of us can ask for. And let's raise a glass to Long and Hayley.
Great time. We're just about getting to the end of my portion of the evening. Couple things to note. One thing to mention is The coaster that you've seen on your table with your name on it, that is for you to take home. Great souvenir from the wedding, doesn't have to stay here. Really nice personal touch from Hayley and Long. Speaking of Hayley and Long, we've been playing our trivia quiz game all night to get them to kiss. I have one final question for the audience. Would you like to hear from the married couple? Well, then say no more for their first speech as officially newlyweds. Let's hear it for Hayley and Long, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Drink your water. So, my husband and I would like to share a few words. Honestly, we thought having like a accounting and medicine trivia question, we were like, this is brilliant. No one's going to want to do this. So we were proven wrong. I love that about all of you. Thank you for being such good sports, for participating, and thank you to Corey for being such a wonderful MC and being so kind and really emphasizing some of those correct answers. Long and I got in some solid fights. He was like, oh my God, this question's so easy. I was like, I don't know what words you're saying. I clearly don't know my Pokemon from my medicine, and that's why I have him. So we just want to start with thanking like all the people here at Aquatopia. They've just been so fantastic for us. The staff and our coordinator Jordan and our decorator Alex. It's just been fantastic for us. And like if you know me, I'm a bit of a mess. So this has been the perfect thing for me to help me really make like my dream wedding come true. And I'm just so happy that we were able to have everything come out the way that it did. And so thank you so much to the people here at Aquatopia. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We also want to thank our photo and videography team, Bethany and Luke at Greyloft, and our second shooters, Melanie and Dominic. Bethany for climbing up that ladder to get that killer group photo. And honestly, they've been with us all day for a long time, and it's just been so appreciated and really helping us, I know that's almost a hazard, really helping us stay on track and keeping everything together, and it's just so appreciated. It's been so wonderful. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Just also want to thank Dominique and Melanie for dealing with the groomsmen. They were a lot. Just also want to thank everyone to being here to be part of our marriage and kind of the wedding. We do feel super loved and by everyone, and I do know that some people have traveled quite far and kind of accommodated and made gymnastics for the scheduling. Some people brought the in-laws to come to Ottawa to take care of the babies so they can come to the wedding.
Shout out to that Sudbury crew in the Brook Street daycare.
So we do really appreciate it, and we do feel quite loved.
We really want to thank our families as well for being here. We've got a lot of Long's family traveling here from Toronto. We've got my family coming. Shout out to my cousin Allison coming out from North Carolina. It's been fantastic having everyone come together. Just really great. I feel so welcomed into this much bigger family. And I'm the baby sibling of my family, so when I grow up, I always get the middle seat on the couch and the middle seat in the back of the car. But marrying into Long as the oldest cousin, I'm experiencing that eldest sibling privilege, and it's been great. So I'm so happy to be joining your family, and I just really appreciate the welcoming embrace that I've received. And I'm just looking forward to all the years to come, and I'm just really glad that everyone was able to come together and be with us today in Ottawa, even though I know it's like Ottawa versus Toronto, it's like a bit of a thing, but like we bought a house here, so I win.
We also want to thank our wedding party, even though the guys are a bit of a mess, but the bridal party kind of picks up the slack a bit, so I appreciate you guys and thank you.
I'm just
really happy to have been able to, have today. And, marrying Long has been wonderful. When I didn't think I would come to this day after our first very awkward date when I was like, I gotta get out of here. Well, I sent a screenshot of Long's dating profile to my family chat, and I was like, I'm gonna meet this dude. His profile is very sparse. He doesn't even say how tall he is, so like this long guy is obviously not long, he's quite short. And I was like, I'm gonna go see him. I know, look at this, honey. It's a hard debate. And I sent a picture of him, and everyone was like, oh, yeah, have fun. But then this guy on our first date, I'm talking to my family, I'm talking to my brother-in-law, Barath, so the guy that was up here harassing our MC Corey into not eating, that's my brother-in-law. I was talking about them, and I was like, oh, he's like he's a bit of a shit disturber. And Long's like, I think I know that guy. And I was like, don't be racist. There's lots of brown dudes in Ottawa who's named Barath. He's like, no. I know a brown guy named Barath, and he was like a bit of a shit disturber. And I was like, he's like, used to work at a pizza shop, right? And I was like, and he went through his friend's Facebook profile, traced it back to Barath, and I was like, would you please excuse me? And then I went to the bathroom stall, and I texted Barath, and I was like, what is the point of screenshotting a dude's face and sending it to you if you're not gonna look? And Barath's like, no. Now that I've opened this photo, he does look kind of familiar. He's like, those dudes were way smarter though. I think there were some house parties and not a lot of sobriety involved in those meetings. But it cued what turned out to be some 6 months of very funny photos. Whenever Long and Barath got together, they'd take a selfie together and send it to that mutual friend that had them meet in the first place, and it kind of culminated in a selfie at Lori and Barath's wedding where the mutual friend was like, how did you score an invite to this? And Long was like, I don't know. But all those years and all those fun memories together, it's just turned into something so wonderful. And again, from that first meeting, I never would have thought that I'd be here today. But Long has just been wonderful and fantastic, and I just feel so lucky. And I'm just really glad to be able to be celebrating this here with him.
You may not know this, but that profile I didn't make. It was my friend Andrew who made it.
The one sentence that was on here, I was like, oh, he's actually kind of funny. He's got nothing else to say, but this phrase is funny. I found out later it wasn't even him. So Andrew, could you please stand up? Thank you for catfishing me into dating this man.
But I do want to thank Hayley for the journey that she's taking me. I do feel like I've been a passenger princess and kind of the journey that I'm going through. For instance, I feel like a great guest at this wedding. It's great. It's been a great journey. But for instance, we dated, and the reason why we made him official is because her sister and her brother-in-law were getting married, and they asked, you can bring a +1 to an engagement party that we weren't dating yet. We weren't official. So I asked her, what do I call myself when people ask me at this engagement party, this intimate family affair that we've been dating for 3 dates? What should I call myself? And she said, no, call my boyfriend. And so that's how we became official. So I've just been kind of going along with things so far. and it's worked out so well.
He says that, but he sat there and watched me delete my Bumble profile. He was like, after you. So from those first days to him convincing me that, for the 2 weeks of lockdown during the pandemic, I should, come stay with him until things get better. And then 6 months later, I was like, I cannot live out of a suitcase in your bachelor pad anymore. I need my closet. So from those days to then, it's just been so much adventure and journey and learning about each other. And I wouldn't trade any of that. And I think it's really contributed so much of us being together, from him bribing me to come stay with him by buying a coffee maker and telling me, listen, I have a printer and it has ink in it, to where we are today. It's just been just absolutely wonderful, and always a laugh and always a good time. So just, all in all, we want to wrap this up by thanking everyone for being here with us. It's, Long and I were saying, it's like the biggest crossover of our life. All the groups of friends we've had that we thought, maybe during the pandemic years would have finally had a chance to meet each other. We're like, no, this is gonna be a good time. So we're just really glad that everyone was able to come to be with us, and we hope that you continue to have a wonderful night. Enjoy the host bar, enjoy the music, take your coasters with you. Yeah, take that with you. And after you watch Long and I struggle through our first dance, we hope we get you all on the dance floor. And I've told Long that it's now his comeuppance for roasting his groomsmen when they had their first dance. I was like, it's coming full circle. It's your time now. So it's time for us to share our first dance together, and we just are really looking forward to having you here with us and then having a party with us for the rest of the night. So thank you just so much for making the journey out here, whether it was from out of country, out of province, or out of town. We're just so happy to have you here with us, and we're looking forward to spending our special day with you. Thank you. Cheers.